Well, first of all, welcome to One Small Town Zoom call for the British Isles and beyond. So we're going to be talking about what's happening beyond One Small Town, but then we're going to hone it down and focus it to the British Isles towards the end. As I say, you are all muted right now. We do want to hear from you. It's just that it would be chaos in the chat, in the audio, if we unmuted everyone. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. We will do our best to get around to them. And try and keep them general. If it's specific to you and it's just regarding your circumstances, we'll happily deal with that on email, or you can, or we can do a separate Zoom. If it's general questions, they're what we're looking for, that other people can benefit from as well and learn more about One Small Town from. Also, we've asked if you can put your location in the chat, and I hope perhaps we're taking a log of that, just to give us a general idea of where the clusters of people are. So where we know we can aim for projects, where we can bring people together who might want to start looking at creating the One Small Town. We're recording it, as you know, and the team are here to answer questions at the end. We're looking to, it'll probably be something up to an hour, but there will be a Q&A as well. So whether that takes us beyond that, quite possibly. But I would like to welcome the person who thought of all this, the person we have to thank for bringing One Small Town to the world, really. He's a man of many talents, but I think his passion lies with One Small Town, and he's worked so hard over the course of a couple of decades to mold and grow this into what it is today. So we would like to introduce and kick off with Michael Tellinger, who's arrived with us today. So hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Julia. Hello, everybody else.
It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's lovely to see so many people in England, the UK, British Isles, coming together to explore and imagine a beautiful world that all of us would love to live in. So thanks for this introduction. I'm not quite sure how deep you would like me to go. Giulia, do you want to just maybe give me an outline of what you would like me to cover so I don't stray too far and hog the entire meeting?
Well, I thought that you could probably tell the story of the Cornerstone business. And also, I think the other thing is the One Small Town store. Okay. Because I think those are the things that we could really sort of use to inspire us to then come together and build what we want to build moving forward. Yeah. So if you could kick us off there, and then afterwards we can sort of backtrack and fill in some of the gaps about what we're intending to do there. Is that all right with everybody?
Okay, so I'll talk about the Cornerstone business, which is critical. I'll bring everybody up to speed with the latest developments with the One Small Town store. I'll touch upon some of the technology that we're working on without going into too much detail because it is really sensitive information. But I just want to give a little bit of excitement. I want to spread a little bit of excitement. But to start off with, I'd just like to say, you know, I wake up every morning and I have to pinch myself, I guess. I don't physically pinch myself, but I wonder, how the hell did we get here? How the hell did a little idea in 2005 develop into this? And then it reminds me, we got here because of relentless, never say die, carry on at all costs, determination to make this work, or at least to get it into a position where it has a chance to succeed, where enough people figure this out, understand what it is that One Small Town's all about, how simple it is, and literally day by day, step by step. How do you eat an elephant? You know, one bite, one mouthful at a time. How do you walk 1,000 miles, one step at a time? And it's just the more success we achieve on a daily basis now, on a weekly basis, and believe me, the success that we're achieving right now, it is so mind-blowing that I step back and I just go, there is no doubt in my mind, and there should be no doubt in anybody's mind, that what we are doing here is absolutely divinely guided. There is no shadow of doubt. There's no way I could have come up with this, or the ideas, or how it would evolve. How would we, the incredibly convoluted and complex journey that it took to get here. That's what blows my mind. And at times and moments and weeks and months and sometimes a year where I believed, okay, this is it. We've hit the walls. That's it. We're going to back it up and stop. And just at the very last minute, the very last moment, something happens that just a spark that makes it carry on again. We have now reached a stage with One Small Town where I truly believe that we can no longer fail. I mean, everything is fallible. But because there's a growing number of people around the world, and with the incredible work that people like Giulia and Michael and Christina and Fayez in Lebanon and Opis and Llewellyn here in South Africa, and more people across the world in different countries are contributing towards making this a success. And the projects that we've started, the things we're about to release, the technology we're working on and so forth, it is now very clear to me that it's an idea whose time has come. So I just want to express my deep gratitude to everybody here for being here on this call, for showing your interest. And hopefully some of you will end up taking this forward or become part of it in your communities. It's entirely up to each and every one of us and each and every one of you to decide what you're going to do with this, how you're going to carry this forward. It's not for everyone because not everybody fully understands it. And what we thought we were going to do 20 years ago has shifted quite dramatically. We're still doing the same things. We're still aiming at creating a better world full of abundance and prosperity for everybody. We're still aiming at developing the best life for everybody in our communities. But the how has changed. How do we do it has changed. In the past, we've been supported mostly by the deeply spiritual people and, let's make love, not war kind of people and all that. And that's been beautiful. And I've been part of that journey. And I dove deeply into those conversations for lengthy periods of time. But then we realized that the moment you start to implement this initiative, the people that gave it birth, the people that gave it life, the people that supported it, the spiritual people that actually created this movement and grew around the world are not necessarily the right people to implement it. They need to continue giving it the spiritual, the mental, the manifestation support, visualizing, manifesting, because that's what they're good at. But to implement this requires a slightly different kind of mentality, because the moment you start to implement One Small Town, you start to knock on the door of the corporate red tape, the bureaucratic frustrations, and all the hurdles and obstacles that are thrown into our lives to trip us up, to make life difficult. And we've had to find ways around it and over it and under it. And guess what? We're doing it. We're succeeding on a daily basis. We find solutions for problems that many people thought were insurmountable. And here we are, as I said. So we find ourselves now, the kind of people that are coming forward and joining us are a different kind of person now, because the implementation of One Small Town requires somebody who's got very strong managerial capacity, who understands how to start a project and make it succeed, how to grow it from an idea, to implement it, to project management, manage it, and to make it a success, both success as a project and success financially as well, or success commercially, or a success community-wise, or a success from the, to make the idea turn it into a success. And that requires a slightly different person from the kind of support that we've had for nearly two decades now. So it gives me great joy to see those kind of people suddenly waking up, because for a long time I didn't think that the business-minded business people would really embrace One Small Town. And guess what? I was proven wrong once again, because suddenly these heavyweight business people are going, oh my God, this is a great idea. I think this is fantastic. Yeah, let me write some business plans and let me get this thing going. And the project managers that have worked on huge international projects that are really good at what they're doing, They are now stepping up and they're coming together in small groups and pockets all over the world and starting to put the cornerstones and the foundations together to make sure that when we do launch One Small Town, it is a success. Because we don't want failures. We don't want to fail at this. We want this to succeed. And that requires this kind of hardcore vision, project management kind of mentality to make this thing work. So I'm very happy to report that this is where we are right now. So my sharing with you today where we are and what we're doing is really starting from this point of departure, that we are now in a position where we are getting a growing and a exponentially growing number of people who are good at starting businesses, good at organizing community, good at organizing projects and making sure they work and they're a success. And it starts really with some of the technologies that we're busy working on. And we've been blessed by being given or handed technologies that are game changers, from healthcare to energy, to agricultural technologies, to seed technology, to pyrolysis technology, turning plastic and rubber to oil, to air conditioning technology, to water purification, desalination technology, and so on and so on. It is staggering to see how the inventors are finding One Small Town and realizing that that One Small Town is a wonderful home for them to be able to share their technology and get it out to the world. And we are now sitting at a stage where we have started to manufacture. I'm not going to go into detail because this is sensitive stuff, and I know that there may be infiltrators and agitators that may want to do us harm, that may not want us to succeed. So we have to manifest that we are succeeding and we will succeed no matter what is thrown at us. But at the same time, we have to be careful, so we can't just blurt out everything we're doing and share it with everybody, because it becomes a security problem for the manufacturers, the inventors, the factories, and so forth. So please understand, if at any stage I sound a little bit cagey and I don't share full disclosure, it's not because I'm a corporate greedy asshole. It's because I'm really careful about what we share to protect the people that are helping to develop this technology and make sure we get it out into the world so that it helps the communities, helps the One Small Town initiative to grow. And one of these technologies, or several of these technologies, are going to become cornerstone, what we call cornerstone businesses. So let's move on to the cornerstone businesses. And before we even go there, our approach towards identifying ambassadors and the people that actually implement One Small Town has shifted dramatically from even 6 months ago, when we started One Small Town in Barrydale, South Africa, beautiful, picturesque town of Barrydale. And again, for the last few years, I don't know, Giulia, since you joined us, and maybe even before you joined us, the way that I started to appoint ambassadors for a town was just, have an interview with somebody. If they came across nice and they were kind and humanitarian, then they had a good smile and they could speak okay, and they sort of understood what we want to do with One Small Town, we would then appoint them as an ambassador. Well, that was part of our baptism by fire and trial by error, and we learned a great deal from those experiences. And in fact, I must say that virtually 100% of those ambassadors that were originally appointed have already disappeared and have been replaced by new ambassadors that are far more focused. And it's not that we replaced them, it's just that they realize that that's not really their cup of tea. They don't have the right mentality or character or backbone or business experience to actually implement this. And this is part of our learning experience. What kind of profile does the ambassador need to be able to succeed in this? And in essence, we realize that, oh my God, this is almost like we are becoming a bit of a corporation, because the kind of person that has to implement One Small Town has to have serious management skills, managing people, managing projects, solving problems, dealing with issues and personality issues and so forth and community issues and friction and arguments and things like that. And so we realized, that can't be like a spiritual bunny, a spiritual hippie kind of person, because that's just not going to resolve anything. They're going to sit in a circle and sing kumbaya, and we're not going to resolve anything. And we must sit in circles and sing kumbaya and manifest, but not to solve problems like that. So we now know that, and the kind of profiling that we're doing to appoint ambassadors has shifted dramatically. We need somebody who's literally got the kind of profile that a very experienced international CEO would have, or a very heavyweight general manager for a large business and a large company with many different departments, with many different people, with many different skills, because that's in essence what One Small Town will do. Think about it. We're going to do agriculture, engineering, technology, healthcare, retail. Everything you can imagine is going to be happening in One Small Town. And the ambassador is going to have to be able to manage that and deal with the different personalities, from the farmers to the healthcare people, to the inventors and the engineers, to the packers in the warehouse, and et cetera, to the teachers and so forth. So it really requires a very strong individual to take on this responsibility, that doesn't crumble or buckle under pressure, that is very clear in knowing how to start something, how to manage people, and how to solve problems, and make sure that every day we make progress, and that we constantly move towards the goal and the destination that we are heading in every one of those businesses that we're starting, whether it's community upliftment projects or whether it's businesses. Now, keep in mind that when we launch One Small Town, there are two very separate things that happen. While we are developing a 12-month plan, while the ambassador is developing a 12-month plan with his or her support team, we're also, part of that 12-month plan is also community upliftment projects. So there are business plans, business ideas, and community upliftment projects that we would like to do to uplift our communities, from fixing potholes to helping the orphanages and the old age homes, and setting up a new theater, or whatever it is that we need to do to make our community beautiful, and have everything we need that we'd like for ourselves, while we at the same time developing business plans that will create huge profits for us into the months and the years to come. So it is an approach that needs to be very clear in the ambassador's mind, and the supporting team of business planners and project managers and agriculture experts and so forth. So I'm sure Giulia will take you, and Michael will take you through the detail of the ambassadors and how we work with them, and how that role and the profile has changed dramatically. So it literally is like a hardcore, strong, humanitarian, hard-ass CEO. That's what we're looking for in ambassadors, right? And the humanitarian thing needs to be strong. But if you can balance the humanitarian with the business acumen, then you got a fantastic marriage of characteristics and traits. Okay, so one of the key things that is developed here is we've been able to find a specific technology and a specific business model that we're busy developing right now, that will, in essence, give us what we call the cornerstone business, or the cornerstone project. And that, in essence, is going to make it so much easier for us to launch One Small Town, in essence, in any town we choose to. And what that cornerstone business or project does is, it pretty much is a wrapped, well-designed, well-developed business model, tried and tested, that by the time we're ready to roll out a One Small Town situation, we can bring that business and put it into that community, put it into that town, and give it to the ambassador and the development team, the support team, as an existing or a business that can open its doors and within 30 days literally start making a profit. That profit is then the foundation that helps to launch the One Small Town in that community, because that's ultimately what we need. Ultimately, we need to have cash flow to be able to fund some of the other things we need to do for our communities, whether it's, like I said, anything you can imagine. So this cornerstone business is a game changer in the One Small Town family worldwide. that's going to pretty much allow us to expand exponentially as quickly as we can develop this particular technology and as quickly as we can distribute it to our small towns around the world. And find the ambassador, find the support team, let them put together their 12-month plan. And as soon as that's ready, we can then launch that business, and they'll have that cornerstone business upon which they can build everything else. That cornerstone business is going to basically pay for the core team. So those are going to become paid positions. So that puts us in a very powerful position into the future. Once we can put that business into the community and say, right, we're going to choose Barrydale to start as a one small town. We go and find the appropriate ambassador. If we have to headhunt that ambassador, we will. We'll do interviews with people. So it's changed slightly. I trust you see how this has changed a little bit. It puts us into a position where we can choose the best people and not wait for the best people to approach us. We can actually go find them and say, here we go. We have a solution for your town. This is the business. You're the perfect profile. And appoint that ambassador and the support team to run and launch that business with the monthly turnover and profits, which are really, really wonderful for a relatively small business. And from that moment on, that ambassador and that support team have got the foundation to do many other things. One of the first things that I always recommend they look at is to look at now obviously this varies from country to country and area to area, but in South Africa and many other countries where there's a lot of poverty in the small towns, one of the key things that I always recommend is look at establishing a community kitchen where we can feed our people. And that is a hugely very powerful, supportive part of the One Small Town activity, because once we have identified the community upliftment projects and like, fixing the roads and painting houses or whatever it is, fixing our theaters and sporting fields and orphanages and so forth. After our members come and contribute their 3 hours a day or 3 hours a week, whatever it is they want to do, keep in mind that they can contribute 3 hours a day if they have nothing better to do. And in countries like South Africa, there are people sitting everywhere, have nothing to do. So for them to do 3 hours a day is a godsend. After the 3 hours a day, they get the infinity token. And now that we've gotten a One Small Town kitchen, because we have monthly turnover and monthly profit with which we can buy the food for that kitchen, now our members not only get a token, infinity token, but they also go get a plate of food at the One Small Town community kitchen. And that's a game changer for people that have nothing. Suddenly to have a token and a plate of food every day, that's a lifesaver for many, many people around the world. So that changes our approach quite dramatically. That's for the community upliftment programs, obviously. So the power of this cornerstone business is unbelievable, because it literally allows us to be able to start so many different things in our community. And then whatever money is left, it's up to the ambassador and the team and the community then to decide which other businesses are we going to fund and start with the leftover profits that we have from the cornerstone business. So keeping in mind that even if there's not enough money from that first cornerstone business, we then move on to what, call it phase 2 if you want to. And that is what we're busy doing right now with the health center in Ras El Mutton. We need $5 million to launch that. So we've issued a token of $5 each, and we're releasing on the 15th of March, our very first One Small Town investor token, specifically for that business, the Ras El Mutton Health Center. And we're going to raise the $5 million through selling the token. It's like selling shares in that business. But these are private placement offerings, which makes it very, very different. So this is not selling shares on open stock markets or any, cryptocurrency trading markets and so forth. And because One Small Town is a private membership, a global private membership, then everyone that participates has to be a member. So everyone that buys the Infinity tokens is already a member and therefore protected by private association and private companies and private membership laws and protect all the things that protect private organizations. And you start to realize how important it is to have this as a private membership initiative, because it really protects us as an idea, as an initiative, and protects our members, protects our businesses, and it protects the way that we can share, can sell investment tokens in these businesses. So we now are about to launch what will become the mechanism by which we fund every other future One Small Town business and business plan that requires funding, that the community cannot fund itself. But even if the community has enough money to fund it, we will still issue a token for that specific business so that the members of that community can buy the token and be official shareholders. So it's what we've created here is a really wonderful, easy, simple, and a safe way for members of our towns and our communities to actually become shareholders and investors in our own businesses. So our funding mechanism through the tokenization is a very powerful way for our communities to be able to crowdfund their own funding for their own businesses. So as you can imagine, this is just going to go on and on and on and on. And every time we release a new business with a new token, that token is then available on our platform. That adds to the list of tokens on your digital wallet when you become a member, and our trading platform will end up with thousands and thousands of tokens that are being sold and traded at any time. So in essence, we're creating our own private online trading platform, completely away from any other trading marketplaces or stock exchanges or anything like that. That will have thousands and thousands of businesses and tokens being traded on it in the near future. So that all takes us to now we have a mechanism. We have a cornerstone business that by the end of May, that cornerstone business will be able to roll out pretty much anywhere in the world. And so, get your act together there in the UK and the British Isles, because we'll be able to give you a cornerstone business. But we can only do it when you've got your act together, you got your ambassadors appointed, and you got your 12-month business plan. Only then will we give you that cornerstone business, because we're not going to just give it to a bunch of people who say, hey, this is cool. Hey, let's see if we can make this work. No, it's not going to work like that. We only deal with people that are serious about what we're doing and serious about them making their community a success. We're doing everything we possibly can not to fail. I'm sure there'll be times that things are going to go bad or wrong, but we try and eliminate that as much as possible. So we've got to be very, very clear and very, very focused on achieving success. The moment this happens, another very exciting thing will happen. And this has been for several years now, since we've it's actually about 2 years now. So when did we come up with the token idea, Giulia? That was probably like 2.5 years ago.
Yeah, so about 2 years ago. So are you moving on to the store? Because that actually answers one of the questions.
I'm moving on to the store right now,
yeah.
So the Infinity token, the idea of that only really came up 2 years ago, when we were trying to find a solution for how do we measure the fact that somebody has contributed their 3 hours a week or 3 hours a day. What tool are we going to use to measure that? Well, we can use a punch card system. That's very old fashioned and it's like Stone Age. So let's use something modern that's not going to run out of technology soon into the near future. And the obvious thing was the Q card, the Q card system, the QR code system, and so that suddenly became the thing. And then we said, well, if people are going to use QR codes to manage their time, and whether they've contributed time or not, let's allocate a commodity to it that's actually going to be recognizable and worth something. And out of this evolved the Infinity token, which, as you know, we have now sold, I think, more than 1.5 million Infinity tokens. So it's already a success. It's not going to be a success. It's already a success. And the price has gone up from $1 when we launched it to $4.36 in a year and a half. So it's just becoming a bigger success every month. And as One Small Town grows, as we've launched the first cornerstone projects in Lebanon and hopefully in the British Isles very soon, that the token use will just go through the roof, and the price of the token will go through the roof as well. Now, we didn't launch the token to get rich. Okay, so it's not like Bitcoin. We didn't launch the token to get rich, although Bitcoin originally was launched with, I believe, an intention to help us have a means of exchange outside of the financial systems. Well, the Infinity token steps in where Bitcoin failed us. Bitcoin can no longer be used as an alternative means of exchange. It's impossible. It doesn't work. It's a mess. It's become a means of enrichment now for people, and not really helping communities around the world. So Infinity token has become that, because anyone, anywhere in the world can sign up as a member right now. It takes them 2 minutes. The moment they're a member, they have their digital wallet, they can buy some tokens, and they can start using their tokens to trade and exchange things and do whatever. Or they can become part of One Small Town, start earning their tokens, and then start trading and exchanging or selling their tokens. But one of the questions was, after the launch of the Infinity token, the recurring question was, well, what can I buy with my Infinity token? Where can I go and buy stuff? Can I go into a shop and buy stuff with it? Or can I use my membership card to go and buy stuff in any shop? And the answer to that is no, because this is a private membership. Until such time that shops recognize the Infinity token, they want to use it, it's really to be shared between us. But this suddenly brings us to a very exciting moment. So what became clear was that the people in the impoverished communities that don't have much IT skills or phone skills, or they might not have a smartphone, they still have the old kind of phones, and they can't, go into their digital wallet on their phone and send their token to somebody else. The whole idea was that the Infinity token is a means of exchange outside and away from the fiat currency system. It's between our members. It's in our membership. It's a private exchange means. So it's our business. It's nobody else's business. It's a willing seller, willing buyer thing. You agree to contribute your 3 hours and you receive a token. It's all by agreement, all by terms and conditions, and it's very normal kind of practice in private clubs and so forth. So what happens if I, the whole idea was that if I have a bag of corn flour, but I don't have bread, and you have 5 loaves of bread and you don't have corn flour, we might be able to exchange things. So I'll say, well listen, I need a bicycle, and you've got a bicycle, but I've got, how many tokens do you want for your bicycle? And you'll say, well, give me 10 tokens. Okay, we agree on it. I send you 10 tokens. You give me the bicycle. Simple. So you can start exchanging things for tokens, anything, as long as it's between members that have tokens in their wallets, and you can exchange them. But what if members are not savvy enough to be able to do that? How do they exchange things and get something and get food? Because food is number one priority for us, to make sure people have food. And then it became very clear. We need to set up a One Small Town store that becomes the intermediary between somebody who wants to get food or get a bicycle or get, a lawnmower or clothing or anything, and those who don't have anything. So in essence, the One Small Town store is going to become a true trading store, right? And because we are not doing this for profit, this is purely an exchange a trading store. We can issue as many tokens as we need to a trading store to be able to exchange for goods, because that's our choice. It's we create those tokens, right? As One Small Town. So we can set up a One Small Town store in your community, and then with the money and the profits that we make from the cornerstone business, the community can then decide, let's take 1/3 of that money and we go buy food at source. So we buy food from the farmers, we buy food from the clothing manufacturers, we buy things from source and put it into our store, starting with food, obviously, always food first. And so we buy that food, or we can buy that food, and I'm talking now for fiat currency, for pounds or euros, right? Or we can go to the farmers, local farmers, and say, okay, instead of selling your product to the market, we'll buy it from you. Because we're allocating, 30% of our profits from our cornerstone businesses, we're allocating towards buying food for our One Small Town store. That's our choice, and that's how we stock our store. So now we stock our store, and those people that don't have anything to trade with, or that they don't know how to trade or use their phones, literally just come to the store. And they say, well, I've got 10 tokens that I earned in the last month, and I need food, I need this, I need that. So they can then get their stuff from the One Small Town store. Now, the question is, well, how do you price things? What is the value of things? And that took us a little while to figure out. So how do we do that? You know, again, a little hiccup. You think about it, you come up with an idea, and you come up with a solution quite quickly. So the way we price things, or let me just say this. For example, you might have a spare lawnmower in your backyard that you haven't used for 2 years. So you say, well, look, I don't need the lawnmower. Let me take it to the One Small Town store and trade it in for some tokens. So you take in your lawnmower or your car or whatever, you know, your unwanted bread or milk or whatever. And this becomes an option for the farmers as well, or home industry people that are making jams or clothing or anything. You can take it to the store and you can get infinity tokens for it. Or if you're a farmer, we can choose to buy things from you as a farmer. So the management of the One Small Town store can choose what they want to use fiat currency for to buy in to that store, so our people can purchase it with or obtain it with their tokens. So you can get your tokens in various ways, or you can then come to the One Small Town store and trade your tokens for food or a bicycle or clothes or anything else. You know, think of the thrift stores, the secondhand clothing stores. It's pretty much like a secondhand clothing store, except we trade everything, not just clothes. And instead of giving people money, we give them infinity tokens. And with those tokens, they can come back and get something else for their tokens later. So what the One Small Town store does, just in case I missed this in the beginning, all the food that we grow for ourselves, you know, if you watch the videos that go back 15 years, it talks about we grow enough food for ourselves so we can distribute food to ourselves. Well, that's a very simple idea. It's a lovely humanitarian utopian idea, but try and do that in a capitalist model and you realize that it's actually almost physically impossible. Because the moment you start plugging in business plans and agricultural business plans and growing seeds and this and that, how do you then, you know, and you grow food in a commercial venture, how do you then take a portion of that food? It's supposed to be a commercial initiative and a business that's owned by the community and a farmer or an investor. How do you take a portion of that then to distribute among the people? It doesn't work. It's going to collapse the model, the profit-making model. So we've had to come up with a solution for that. And that solution was that among all the farmers and landowners that we have, they contribute certain amount of land that Giulia and Michael will take you through that and the details of that. And that land we then use what we call our community gardens. And in those community gardens, we then grow all the food we need for ourselves. That is not for sale. It's food that goes to us to feed our communities and the food that goes into the One Small Town store. All right. So not to be confused between the commercial farming that we do, because that stuff is for sale and into the world. But we can also buy it from those commercial farmers. Remember, we've now got money from other businesses. So we can actually, it becomes a closed loop system where we buy our own food from our own farmers that we help to fund. So in essence, we still keep the food in the One Small Town community, except we buy it back with cash because the farmers need cash to survive. So I trust it makes sense to you. I hope it makes sense to you. This is a spectacular model, and it's just getting stronger and better and bigger every day. And we just realized as well in the past week that once the One Small Town store is up and running, and we've got it running smoothly among our members, nothing stops us from opening the doors to outside people who want to come buy stuff with cash. But that's still something that we're going to have to work on, because we don't want because it's going to be very cheap. So we're going to have to find a way how when outsiders want to come and buy stuff from our One Small Town store, they don't come and buy everything up and then there's nothing left for our members. So these are little things that we need to still figure out. What I haven't shared with you, which I digressed from, is how do we determine the value of the token in each different country? And it's very simple, because the token represents 3 hours of work. In South Africa, that's about 26 Rand per hour. So we've rounded it off at 30 Rand an hour. So 3 hours shift for which you get one token is 90 Rand. That means in South Africa, the token is worth 90 Rand. That's it. In the UK, it'll be whatever is minimum wage. And for 3 hours, and we up that a little bit, and that's the value of the token. So I'm not sure, what is a minimum wage in the UK or in the British Isles? It was like £10 or €10 or whatever. So let's say the value of the token in the British Isles is going to be £30, and that's it. So whatever product you bring in, it's valued at its normal evaluation, and whatever number of pounds it is, that's how many tokens you're going to get in return. So that's the simplistic way of explaining it. How we convert the value of products that somebody brings in into tokens. So every country will have a slightly different evaluation for their token. That's for their community, for their country, for their reality. And because the stuff is not being exported from those stores, the stuff is purely for our members to help build a strong community with everything they need. And I mean everything. Eventually will people be selling cars and trucks and computers and mining equipment, just anything.
Well, Michael, I think you've painted a really good picture of some of the core areas of One Small Town, and it's a sizable endeavor, and there's lots of facets to it, and I think you've done really well covering a lot of those. And as Michael says, it's a global thing. It's in a lot of countries, and every country is different. And of course, our focus here is on the British Isles. So for us, I guess, when we walk down our high streets, and a lot of them now are deteriorating before our very eyes, and things that Michael's spoken about there, things like the food kitchen. Well, for us, that's probably a hub, a center for the members to go, and we should have that as well. And it would probably be that might be a place where we provide food for those who don't have it. There will be the One Small Town store that Michael spoke about, and that may well be in the same building. It could be in a separate building. So what we're doing is we're painting up a picture where all the buildings within the town centre, we can start to repopulate with One Small Town businesses and community projects. And hopefully that gives you a picture of how what Michael's saying is applied for us here in the British Isles, and how we would bring that to fruition. And a lot of that is the same as it is in other countries, except we just have our own different facets to it. And in terms of the ambassadors, absolutely. If any of you have, or believe you have, a team of people that are committed, or a skill set that you can bring to that town, if you're influential in the town, you know enough people, absolutely come and talk to us, and we'll discuss that with you. As Michael said, we need those people to step forward. We also need people to help. So not everyone wants to be an ambassador. Not everyone wants to be in any kind of limelight. They want to do their 3 hours, and that's the minimum. That's all we ask of the members. So make sure you sign up as a member, and we can use those skills that you have to help the ambassadors in your area. And if you know people who could be the ambassadors that you can assist, then by all means, send them over to us, and we'll have a discussion with them. And I think hopefully, I mean, Michael mentioned impoverished communities, and we're starting to see those now. And while a lot of people are comfortable, it's kind of it's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal isn't to struggle and just try and be comfortable and keep your head below the radar. The ultimate goal is that it doesn't have to be like this. We can have an abundant, happy, healthy, wonderful life within our communities, and the picture that Michael's outlined there brings that all together. But it is a mammoth task, and there are so many facets that Michael, I know you could probably talk all day about all the different types of areas. But on the Cornerstone projects, you mentioned that we do have projects in the works, and when we're speaking to ambassadors and teams of people that are truly committed and have the skill set to be able to take this forward, we'll discuss them with those. And of course, one of those, after initial starts, one of those is the health centre, which is going really good. And Michael mentioned the token. So by all means, ensure that you get your tokens. As far as I'm aware, Michael, you don't have to be in Lebanon to be able to opt for those tokens. No. And then in time, we will also have health centres over here. What they're creating there is a blueprint. We want to bring that blueprint over here and to be able to replicate it. And yes, we have different nuances to the way that businesses start over here, and we'll need to tweak business plans. But we have a reference point. We have a demonstrable model that we can provide. And with some tweaking and the right people in place, in the right location, with the right team and the right ambassador, we're manifesting it. It's all going to come together. And we will then be able to start health centre. Once we start one health centre in the British Isles, then the snowball effect comes into play. And Michael talks all the time about the domino effect. Well, we're going to get to that point. One town, one health centre, one means of generating our own income. And other people will then start to sit up and notice more. And you guys, in a lot of ways, are the pioneers of that, because you've been able to see the vision that Michael's provided for us here and that's been built up over 2 decades. And really now it's down to us to take that and say, okay, how does that apply to us? Who do we need on board in my local area? And get in touch with us here at the team, and we'll help make that happen. So, sorry, Michael, I just kind of interrupted your flow there, but
no, I'm glad you interrupted me. Otherwise, I would bloody ramble on for another hour.
No, it's been great, but I think this is probably a really good time. We've been having questions coming in, and I think while you're here, if you have time, Michael, we'd perhaps maybe like to go through some of those questions. Now, we have said obviously to keep the questions general, so they apply to most, if not all, people. But I don't know if Jan or Giulia, you're able to shout out some of the questions that we've had, and then we can point at someone to answer it. Certainly, Michael will be able to answer a lot of these, I'm sure. But if it's more locally based, then perhaps we can join in.
I'm going to start with this one because I think Michael covered it, which was, why don't we just use Bitcoin? Does the OST token relate to Bitcoin? I asked just to get a quick perspective for all. Now, I think, Michael, you covered that. The answer is no, the OST token does not relate to Bitcoin. But I think the power of the token, can you just very quickly go through the power of the 2 tokens? One is the Infinity token and one is the investor token. In particular, the investor token, because that brings the power back to the people, because we can invest in our own businesses.
Yeah. So first of all, Bitcoin, that's a cryptocurrency. It's not an NFT. It is not an asset-backed crypto. Bitcoin is just a fresh air. There's nothing backing it. The only thing backing it is the demand of the people. So if I had a million Bitcoin and I went and dumped it on any of the stock markets, literally tomorrow morning you'd wake up and I sold it for $1 each. I just wanted to get rid of it. Tomorrow morning you'd wake up and the Bitcoin value would be zero, like crashed. So this can't happen to Infinity Token, because Infinity Token is an asset-backed private community token. It's an NFT, non-fungible token. You can't lose it. It has got a crypto alphanumeric number attached to it. It's not just this thing made out of thin air. It's not backed by anything. So that's the first thing. Okay, so don't ever compare our precious Infinity tokens to any of the disgusting cryptocurrencies out there, whose only main, and I speak under correction, obviously, not all of them, but most of the cryptocurrencies out there, their main objective is to make money for the people that create them. That's pretty much it. So Infinity is the opposite. Infinity is there to create prosperity and stability, economic stability for the members of the One Small Town community worldwide. And it's doing it already. So you can never lose your Infinity token. You can never, no one can steal it from you. And if you lose your laptop or your phone, it doesn't matter. It's like if you lose your credit card, your bank card, doesn't mean you've lost your money. Unless somebody hacks your account and takes your money out of there, that's a different thing. But you don't lose the Bitcoin. I mean, excuse me, you don't lose your Infinity tokens in your One Small Town digital wallet. It stays there. You can log on any computer from anywhere in the world, from anyone's cell phone. You can log into your digital wallet and distribute money if you want to. Right. So it's literally like having a bank account with One Small Town. So
sorry,
secondly,
Michael. I was just going to say, can I add to that as well? There's one fundamental difference that usually blows Bitcoin out of the water straight away. And that is that you can't generate a Bitcoin by contributing 3 hours to your community. You can with the Infinity token. That's a major difference. If you could generate Bitcoins for 3 hours contribution, everyone would be doing it and there'd be a big bun fight for Bitcoins. But the reason why there's a big bun fight is because they're limited. They're in the power of people who can mine them fast enough, and they're only really for the privileged few who can afford them. So everyone can afford to get an Infinity token because everyone, to varying degrees, has 3 hours contribution each week that they can put forward. You can have 30 tokens a month just by putting in your time and your effort and your care and your love. You don't have to have £1 million in the bank, which is often what you need for sizable Bitcoin purchases. So, sorry, Michael, I just wanted to add that in.
No, thank you, Michael. That's very important. And that's what Michael just mentioned that is why it's called an asset backed. The asset that backs the Infinity token is our sweat equity, our choice to contribute 3 hours. Now, think about how powerful this is. It's not gold, it's not water, it's not sand, it's not anything. It's not minerals or diamonds. It is something that we have absolute control over. You know, gold and diamonds and oil, and that can be blown up or stolen or hidden, and then suddenly your investment goes up in flames. But no one can steal your choice and your ability to contribute 3 hours of your time. That's the one thing that we have complete control over. And that's the asset that backs the Infinity tokens. It is probably the most powerful asset-backed community token in the world right now. I can't think of anything else. And we choose to create them. Every time we contribute 3 hours of our time, we've just created an Infinity token. That's why you get it, because you've worked for it. That's why we get it. And that's why we can never run out of them. We'll just keep, we just keep generating more Infinity tokens and creating more and more wealth in our communities, in our memberships. And that's it. So it's crazy. Now,
plus the 3 hours that you generate as well, that's 3 hours of your time. As Michael said, it's sweat equity. It's probably the most valuable resource that we have is our time and effort. It has a lot of value behind it, and it's only going to go upwards as well. Sorry, Michael, I'm interrupting again.
Time and talent I'm going to throw in as well, because you're able to use your gifts and your talent as well. And am I able to link this next question, which comes from Glenn in Scotland?
Yes, hold on. I just want to finish the difference between the Infinity token and the investor tokens.
Apologies.
So the Infinity token is that's our currency. That's what we create. That's what we trade with. That's what we exchange. That's what we earn when we contribute our 3 hours. That's the alpha and omega of the One Small Town exchange mechanism. However, to fund our businesses, we need money. To create money, we create and what we call an investor token specifically for that business. Our first one of those businesses is the Russell Mutton Health Center. So on the 15th of March, we're releasing the very first One Small Town investor token, which is the health center investor token. Like I said, we need $5 million to complete it, and that's why we're releasing 1 million tokens at $5 each. And that's it. And once those tokens are sold, they're gone. You can't buy any more of them. So those tokens are going to be a bit like Bitcoin, but with a real asset, because they actually represent 30% shareholding, 30% profit share in a real business, in a health center that makes a hell of a lot of profit, by the way. Okay, let me tell you, the business plan for this little health center is mind-blowing. And you should all know that, hospitals and medical industry makes a lot of profit. That is a high profit industry. Well, this little health center in Russell Mutton, the profits are insane. So people that buy those 1 million tokens are going to be receiving annual dividends from the profits of those businesses. And because there's only 1 million tokens, now we're going to see a very interesting development of the value of that investor token as time goes by. So that's a completely different kind of token. And for any business that you might want to start, you might want to start a brewery or a food packaging business or a cornflake factory or a dairy, anything. And if you need money to launch that in your One Small Town community, all you got to do now is follow the steps that Giulia and Michael will spell out for you. It's very simple. Follow the steps, get your business plans together, get your 12-month plan together, write the business plans. And when everything is in place, we then issue and create that investor token for that specific business and launch that investor token to raise the money for that specific business. Now, as I said earlier, each one of these tokens will sit on the OST trading platform. And as it's launched, it will appear on the One Small Town trading platform, and people can go there. Members can go there and buy them. So you have to become a member first to go and buy those tokens. That means once you've bought them, they now sit in your digital wallet beneath your Infinity token. So as a member, your Infinity token will always be the one at the top, and all the other tokens that you've bought that are in your digital wallet will sit underneath. So at any stage, you can decide, I want to get rid of my Lancaster, whatever. Give me a town's name in the UK. Any town.
Leatherhead.
Leatherhead. I want to get rid of my Leatherhead brewery tokens. I've got 1,000 of them, and I need to earn some money. So you put your Leatherhead brewery tokens on the trading platform, and you say, I bought them for £10 each. Give me £15 each, and see who bites. It's really that simple. So we're creating our own trading platform, a private trading platform that there'll be thousands and thousands of One Small Town businesses, and the tokens that we use to raise the funding that represents 30% shareholding and 30% profit share in each and every one of those businesses. So understand how powerful this is, what we're doing here. This has never been done before. We're breaking new ground, and it's just, it's just time will tell how successful this is going to be.
So that, I was trying to link this question into the Infinity token. That's why I interrupted you, but I think you answered the question. I'm sure you may have other questions, Glenn, but you answered the question, which was, where does OST stand on funding new projects? And that is via the investor tokens. If we put the right paperwork together, i.e. business plans, and the figures work, then we will be able to launch a investor token to fund that business. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're already talking. Giulia and Michael and I have been talking already about developing the Health Centre UK or Health Centre London token. So a business plan has already been written. Apparently, it's bloody brilliant. So we're now looking at taking it to its final conclusion, to finish that business plan for London or wherever it's going to be, and then issuing that token as the first investor token in the UK.
Yeah, it's not quite London, but once we get talking about it, not in this session, then the location will become apparent. So,
Giulia, I'm just conscious of time as well, but we've just gone past the hour, and we do have a lot of questions that we'd like to get through. So I'm going to interrupt. It's probably my fault.
Do you want me to get off here so you guys can deal with it, or do you want me to hang on?
No, more than happy for you to stay, Michael, and help us with these questions. I guess if we go for a more sort of quick fire answer round, maybe we can get through enough of them.
Let's go for quick fire.
As I say, guys, if you do have questions that we can't answer today, you can email us, and we'll happily answer all the questions that we can. So, sorry, Giulia, what's the next question?
Sorry, I was just scrolling up. There's some good ones, but as you say, we'll come back and answer those maybe, via email or however. Sorry. How do we safeguard the community from individuals who become members with criminal intent? That's a difficult one. How do we safeguard any business? If I open the shop on the corner of the high street that I'm looking at, how do I safeguard from that? I think it's just about the fact that we've got a transparent platform that allows us to be able to see our progress as we log our businesses on it. That's not the greatest answer I can give, but I'm sure as a community we will be able to spot those people as they come in. Sorry, Mike.
I was just going to add that don't forget we're using natural law here, and we are familiar with organisations like peacekeepers. Now, no loss, harm, or damage, and keeping the peace is something that they work with us to strive for. They're not, the government police. They're peacekeepers, and they work within natural law. Now, they will hopefully play a large role in building our communities. And I've already spoken to some groups who will be able to use their role in peacekeepers. So we do have all of those kind of safeguards in place as any community would have. So I think there's always going to be bad players, but it's just how we deal with them.
If I may add, one of the businesses that I always suggest, one of the cornerstone businesses, is to start a One Small Town security company. Security is big in South Africa, obviously. security companies everywhere. I trust that's big. It's a big business everywhere. Now, if you start a one small town security company, and you have 1,000 members in town, and they all have to contribute 3 hours a week, suddenly, you might have 200 of those people that say, hey, I want to work in the security company because I want to go for training and firearm training and combat training and all this. And suddenly you have 1,000 members that are part of your one small town security business, and you have the biggest security business in the whole entire area. And it makes a lot of money because now you can offer security services to all the factories and the businesses and so forth. So a security business is often a good starting point.
Okay, no firearms here, of course.
Of course.
This links nicely to some of the earlier conversation. What are your plans for a recruitment process? How are you going to choose the people for each open position? That comes from Daria. Thank you for that question. On the OST platform, when you sign up as a member, there are various different job roles, and there will be more to come. To link yourself to a job role, if there's not one that's directly related to your skills, there are kind of generic job roles and generic skills that can be added. So what we're planning to do is for people to become members and link themselves to the job roles, and so we can bring them on as team members. So that we can then start to allocate different tasks and projects to all of those who come on board.
Sorry, I'm interrupting a lot, but if I could just add to that we don't necessarily create these job roles. It's you guys that create these job roles. This is a bottom-up approach. So we are only here and able to function because you guys are functioning and setting up businesses and doing community projects. Any jobs that come from that are because of the activities of the members. So the more activities that we can get underway will then allow us to be able to generate more roles that we need within businesses. So I guess that's one way of looking at it. How you recruit for those roles often is down to the town and the team and their ambassador. But that's, this is a bottom-up thing. So go ahead, make those businesses, and then we can have jobs for people.
And that links to, will you please connect those living in the same area within a reasonable or within a reasonable distance? And that is part of our awareness campaign that Michael will talk you through. If we run out of time here, we'll come back to that. I'm going to just double check. Michael, do you want to sort of talk a little bit more about that while I double check, because there's 23 new messages that's just come through.
Oh, okay. About the awareness campaign, you mean?
Can I just interject before you do that? There was a question about the community gardens. Will they be organic gardening? That's very much dependent on the community themselves and whether you have certified organic soil. I mean, obviously it can be chemical free, but you'll need to find the right plot of land that's certified for it to be genuinely organic. And I'm sure there's lots of different takes on that, but it's up to the community to decide whether it's organic or clean. We hope that it will be.
And what we're hoping to do as well is to get together almost kind of expert teams, if you like, a collection of people who have skills in agriculture and the surrounding industries. We'll get those together as a specialist team. Then for all of these kind of questions, or where people have land that they can utilize, we can offer that team the way of best to optimize that land. So we'll have a lot of input from a lot of people who work, in nature naturally as it's supposed to be, without, shall we say, tarnished crops. We're going to do it all naturally. So we'll have a team of people working on those kind of aspects. That's one of our aims, so that we can offer them to towns and groups looking to grow in fields, etc. So.
If I could just add quickly to the organic food question, just because you're not aware of this, we have access to some of the most groundbreaking and leading edge technology in agriculture, whether it's effective microorganisms to all kinds of biomuties to frequency treatment. Plus we've got our seed treatment technology that we've started to work on and test. We already know the success, but we're now doing it properly with PhDs and really highly skilled people that know how to run trials and measuring trials of after treated seeds versus non-treated seeds and so forth. And so in essence, we're creating what will be our own collection of DNA that belongs to one small town. I don't want to talk too much about this because this gets into areas where people start dying. So I want to tell you that we have technologies that will give our farmers and our participating food growers and seed growers the best seeds and the best technology for the best success, which is mine. We've seen it. I've seen it. So I don't even have to beat about the bush around it. It is mind-blowing. It is absolutely mind-blowing, the success that you get with this. And it's 100% pure, 100% organic. You don't have to use chemicals or anything with it. If you use this muti, I call it muti. I don't know if you know what muti is.
No.
Muti medicine. You can
Oh,
call
that
it
was it.
medicine.
You told me before.
Yeah. African word for medicine. And so, so seed banks, we're heading that way. I'll release more information about that later.
Okay,
question, Giulia.
So there's a lot in the chat about clean food and healthy food. So I'm glad Michael dipped into that subject because I know it's a sensitive one. I so want to get involved with One Small Town. Thank you very much for that. Thank you, sounds amazing. So we've got some nice comments. What happens when somebody is sadly unable to contribute their 3 hours any longer due to a health issue or advanced age?
This is all part of the it's very detailed, spelled out in detail in the white paper, the Infinity Token white paper. But remember, there's everybody has some skills. You could be a quadriplegic and you could still be able to contribute something. Doesn't matter. Everyone has something that can contribute. It's not about hard labor. It's about time. It could be monitoring something on a computer and making notes or something. So from quadriplegics to able-bodied people, everyone will be able to contribute their 3 hours without exception. We just have to find those things for them.
And also from personal experience as well, I do think the whole caring for the the elderly, etc., needs to be completely revamped in this country. So, we should be looking at businesses that really help those in the community to, even if it's just connecting those people who may be lonely. There's a whole industry where we could really make a difference to those who really can't physically or can contribute, whatever that might be. I'm really looking for those solutions, which I'm sure we can collectively come to.
That's a very important part of One Small Town is the whole orphanage thing, the support for orphans, support for old age home, support for care homes, and so forth. There are many people that want to work in those environments and those industries and with experience, but they don't always have the opportunity. So now there'll be those opportunities to actually go and put those skills and those passions of yours to use in your community.
Yeah, caring for the sick and the elderly, it shouldn't be this hard. We're heading for a time where we're going to be looking at being abundant, and part of that means that we have all the resources we need to care for those that do have profound difficulties. So,
and our health centres, hopefully, there's a tipping point where they don't get so sick.
Yeah.
I'm just scrolling up the questions. There's such a lot in here. There's lots here saying thank you. Definitely connecting value of the token. Is it possible to have a list of assets and resources, tangible and intangible, talent, existing town producing and natural? Well, that line is, as we're connected with you, that's about really getting involved and us teaming up as we intend to do, which is the part of the whole awareness campaign, is finding those localized groups that can begin that talking about how we're going to bring things forward. The list of town members, etc., is something that we're about to build, and that means signing up to the platform for everybody.
Just keep in mind this is a membership driven thing, so unless you're a member, you're not going to have access to certain information that is available to members. So become a member, and all the information is available to members.
This particular person is a member, but yes, I see what you're saying. But it's about us now forming these groups with people who are coordinating these groups. Then we can form the support teams that I think we're going to talk about this in a different session. Forming these support teams, forming these groups, finding the ambassadors, and really kind of capitalizing, I hate using that word, on or leveraging all the talent that we've got in those groups, and sharing as well, sharing the information that we've got. So I'm not sure how many. I'm sure I've missed questions. Apologies if I have. What we're going to do is go through them all and see if there's anything we've missed. David, I like your idea about the computer hub. We'll come back to you on that one. Stores restricted by insurance, ingredient of edible goods. Okay, Helen, we need to talk about that. I know you're also a health person as well. So yeah, so I think in the interest of time, what we'll do is go through all of these questions and come back with some responses to them all, group them together, etc. So I think one of the things we were going to do is talk about awareness, Michael C. Do we want to save that for a shorter, different session, or do we want to continue? Maybe we can see our hands up on that one.
I'm not sure how people are for time. I mean,
we're over the hour, and
we are over the hour.
I don't know if people have
a couple of people have had to go, so I wonder whether it might benefit more, because we could perhaps give you, a few slides from the presentation, but I wonder whether that's not going to do it justice, and whether actually we'd like to arrange another Zoom call. And if you're all in favour of that, please, say so in the chat, and we'll send out another invite to another call where we can focus more on what we're doing in the British Isles, our aims and objectives here, what we have going currently, and what is in the pipeline for us. So part of that is an awareness campaign, and that's part of why you're here today. And it's fantastic that you've all come along. We really appreciate it. One Small Town has I mean, Michael probably testified to this, but One Small Town has such huge support, and we're really grateful for it, because it's joining that support network that means we can do this. And I am, because we all are, right? So that's what we'll be going into more next time, in terms of awareness, getting more members on board, because more members means more skills, more talents, more contribution, and then that snowball effect that I mentioned earlier, that's going to start happening. We just need something in place to be organised so that we can get those people on board with us, and then we can use their help and make this move forward. But in terms of what that plan lays out, we'll go into that in more detail on the next call, I think, so that we can do it justice.
And I can see that everybody's agreeing with that in the chat. Everyone's saying yes, more Zoom calls. Yes, we need to be, more connected, etc. So we can do some sort of deep dives into some focused subject Zoom calls for everybody. It was Beverly that said everybody on this Zoom chat should stay in touch. So that's a lovely sentiment as well. So we've had lots of yeses and some ayes from Scotland to say yes, let's stay connected. How many people on the call, Giulia? I'm not sure. Jan, there was about 50, wasn't there?
It's 75.
50 or 60.
Yeah, that was nearly 60. There's 52 now.
Okay. Yeah, because some said goodbye on the chat as well. So that's a good start, I think.
I would also like to urge people if you're not a member yet, please do that. Go online, go to onesmalltown.org and sign up as a member. It starts with membership. You've got to walk the talk. Don't just talk about it and say, oh, it's a lovely idea. It's great. I want to look into it. Do something. Become a member and then tell everybody. It's up to us. And it starts with membership. Everything in One Small Town starts with membership. Imagine if we have 20 million members around the world, how powerful this will be. Overnight, this is a very powerful system. Yeah. And we have the platform to manage all this. So I would please urge everybody, become a member, and then let's take it from there.
And somebody said, where can I buy the token? That is by becoming a member. If you wish to purchase the token, we're also going to come up with some initiatives where you can earn tokens as well. So on that note,
Yeah,
We've got some great responses in the chat. That's lovely. So thank you so much, everybody, for coming.
Yes, thank you. If I just finish off by saying, I think times are now changing, to coin a phrase, because a lot of people, and I suspect a lot of you, have spent a lot of years talking about what's happening. We don't want to talk about it anymore. I've done all the talking I want to do. I'm aware of what's happening in the world. I'm aware that we can make a difference. And they're the things I want to focus on. And I'd much rather be on a Zoom call talking about the great and fantastic things that we're doing to improve our own lives than talking about the misery that's currently going on in the world. So we're going to be a part of that. And that's what we're going to do a lot more of. So you keep posted, because we are going to be sending out a lot more information as part of this awareness campaign. And as Giulia said, thank you very much for coming along. We definitely need all of your contributions. We appreciate them, and for you to take the time out on Mother's Day as well to come to the call.
And the other thing is, we're not just going to be talking. We're going to be actually taking some actions with you. Yeah. So that's why we need you to sign up as members. I did see a hand go up, but I can't see who it was anymore. Maybe if that person can drop us an email to say what they needed to say. Sorry if I missed it. I just saw a hand go up, and another one go up.
David Mitchell. There's David up there.
There's a David Mitchell, yes. What about a regular Sunday morning Zoom session between 10 and 12 p.m.? Well, that can certainly be thought through. What we'll do is we'll maybe put that to a vote to see what's the best timing for everybody. Probably Sundays or weekends, because some of you may have 9-to-5ers, might be 9-to-5ers still. So yeah, we that is part of the awareness plan. So and we'll talk through that in a focused call. More messages still coming. You really don't want to go and see your mums on Mothering Sunday, do you? How about a Telegram channel? Peter, yes, we have a Telegram channel. So, you know, what we constantly get is, I don't like Facebook, I don't like Telegram. So we have a Facebook, and we also have a Telegram channel. I renamed it today to be the British Isles Official, something along those lines. So please join us there. What we'll do is we'll put the link to that in our follow-up message to all of this, if that's okay.
Giulia, that channel, the British Isles channel, that used to be the UK Once More Time UK channel, I assume.
Yes.
Is that a channel where people can comment and post remarks and things?
No, but we can make it that kind of forum style channel.
I've got a feeling it's probably what we're going to need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's
a suggestion. I'll leave it up. I'll leave it up to you. It's your domain, but it might be a good idea, because then people can feel they're being heard. They can ask questions, and the debate can be opened.
That's right. Thank you, Dave, for putting the link in. It's One Small Town UK Official, but the actual name, we called it the British Isles, so that we can make sure that everybody is included.
Thank you, Dave. And for those that we haven't got around to your questions, and there's always questions. We've had a big response from people asking to get involved with contribution, with their time and efforts. We have a number of projects that we want to get started on. We're looking at doing group Zoom calls for specific people with certain skills, or a group of people with that skill set. On those group calls, we can take questions there as well. So don't feel like you've missed out today. There will be other Zoom calls where we invite everyone, and then there will be some specific ones as well. So we'll look forward to seeing you on those.
Yeah, and thanks, Glenn. Michael T also has a Telegram channel that has about, I don't know, 11,000 followers. So
yeah, but sometimes I post other stuff there that's not One Small Town related, and it could scare some people. So, you know, don't go there if you don't have a big stomach.
I think most people here are, well, all of them here are awake, so that they won't be scared off by you, but there will be some people.
Okay, so just to wrap this up then, first of all, please sign up as a member. It's easier for us to contact you if you sign up as a member, for one, but also you are then on the first rung and able to join in and help without any difficulty. That's the first thing. Secondly, if there's anyone here from Wales who wants to contact Zig, our Welsh ambassador, then we can give you his email address, or just email us, or you might have it already, but it's wales@onesmalltown.org. And for those that have offered your skills, we appreciate it. If we haven't got back to you just yet, it's only because we're formulating how we're going to go about doing that, so it's well organized. And then just thank you for your time today, everybody. we will be doing more, and we appreciate you've taken the time out to be here. And thank you to Michael as well for coming along and telling us so much more about One Small Town. And thank you to Giulia and for Jan doing the technical stuff in the background as well. Appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. You've been amazing.
So I just want to say from me, thank you, Giulia. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Jan, for setting this up. You absolute backbone of One Small Town in the British Isles, in the UK and England especially, and so thank you so much for everything you're doing. I sense it's about to burst. It's poised right on the edge. And so to everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you for the interest, and let's make this work. It's up to us. Let's stop talking about the problems. One Small Town provides all the solutions. We are the solution. And there are no other solutions like One Small Town. If you do find other solutions, then join them. Leave us and join them. But if you don't find anybody else, then join us. Let's make this work. And we're making it work. It's beautiful. It's just about to go downhill now. And I want to, just before I go, I just want to say hello to Steffi Betts, my friend from KZN, from Durban, South Africa. Lovely to see you in the UK. Hello, Steffi. All right, everybody. I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay,
Thank you,
everyone.
Michael.
Let's
We're going to close
have
the call now.
Sorry.
Yeah, we'll close the call. Happy Mother's Day, and we will see you very soon. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.